to the Friday training. So today we're doing the agent site and the KW app. That's what we're going to focus on. But as always, Emily, if you've got any questions, please jump in. It always helps. So I'm signed into Command already. I feel like by now we should know how to do that. And I'm working on my laptop today, so the screens are a little bit smaller. And so you'll have to bear with me with a little bit of that stuff. But just to recap, KW Answers is a great way to start. If you need some extra training, or if you forgot something that we're talking about, you can always go back here. So you can go to the agent site, hit that, and that should take you into a bunch of really helpful information. We're going to talk about that website setup. So set up your agent site. This will take you through the steps for using the Kelly guide, which is a fantastic way just to get started. We'll talk about that today. And then there's also edit agent site pages here, which after you set up your website, you got the video here, will be pretty helpful information, but we'll talk about that. Also, my agent site, and this is the one I've worked on. You can always come here and set an appointment, find information, find ways to get in touch with me. And I'll use this as an example today. We'll be going back and forth between it as we talk about different aspects of the website. So let's start from the home screen. Click the little red square and you'll see all the different parts. We're going to go down to consumer today. So I can see a little bit more on the screen. Okay. So here we are in the consumer sort of dashboard. You can see all the different pages that I've made on my website. I've kind of repurposed the agent site to be a tech support page for me, for everybody else. There's lots of different templates you can use. I like to use the agent profile one, and I'll show you all why in a little bit, but I think it's the most flexible one, especially if you want to start adding, if you're into like HTML and you want to add things to it in that way. That's the one that's friendly like that. Keep getting a bunch of emails, so I'm just going to take a look every once in a while and make sure people can get into the Zoom if they need to, but that's not one. Okay, so we're going to talk about the website first and the difference between agent site pages and landing pages, and then how you get an agent site page to actually be on your web page. And once you get it, it makes a lot of sense, but on the base value of it, it's a little bit confusing. So we'll talk about landing pages first because that's easy. I would say this is the easy example, and it kind of links to yesterday or the day before. When were we talking about? Day before, we were talking about designs, and you can make like a virtual business card. That's what you can do with a landing page. So you can create it's sort of just the one little standalone web page known as a landing page, and you can just put sort of like think of it as like a flyer or something. You can put in like the neighborhood snap that we did, or if you just want some quick information that you just want on the quick draw, that if you meet someone walking around and you wish you could give them whatever, you can make a landing page. You can make as many landing pages for that different situation as you like. The trick is you're going to have to keep the URL of that landing page somewhere that you can access it quickly, so that you can quick draw it, give it to somebody. There's a variety of ways that you can do that. But the landing page is pretty much just that. I'm going to give you a link. You're going to open it and you'll see just a little one-page thing of some quick information. So let's take a look here. I have a listing example. So I'll click that. This is a live page. So technically I could share this link with somebody. You could click it and you'll see exactly this. This is just some random listing example that I came up with. And just kind of like how we did the neighborhood snap, all of this stuff just kind of populates. You bring in the template, you put in the right information, and it makes this pretty thing. So if you've got a listing that you're really excited to share with people, you could make a landing page. Maybe you can put it on a Facebook post. Maybe you could share it in a text message. Maybe you could, whatever you want. And then people can click and see this really pretty advertisement for it. Close that up. So that's what the landing pages and the agent site pages are a little bit different. The agent site pages, when you put one of those on, you're adding to your agent website. So that's actually connected to your nav bar over here, where it says Keller Williams Burlington, or if you're on a team, it would say what team you're on here instead. You click the little drop down, And then when we added agent site page, it's going to add or take away from these tabs. These ones down here, I just have activated, and you can turn those on and off, and I'll show you where those settings are. But about me, helpful links, market business training center, all of this stuff are pages that I've added and titled. And that's how you navigate around your site. You can change the picture back here. Mine is, it can rotate through 5. If you don't want it to rotate at all, you can just put the same picture there 5 times, or just put one picture and delete the rest, and it'll just stay static.
How do you, so there's an option to do multiple? I thought, oh, I see what you're saying. These pictures that
Yeah.
scroll across here that said find your dream.
Yeah, and you can change where it says find your dream home. You can change that if you've got like a tagline. You know, you can put that in there. What you can't change about this website front page is anything else, essentially. It has to be here. You have, you know, this little search bar, this is always going to be your cover page. You can't change it, remove it, modify it, other than the ways that we just talked about, the picture and this. And again, that's not a bad thing. This is that search bar that I keep coming back to. So,
Okay.
spelling helps. But you know, when you put in a search here, this search is top notch. It works really well. You know, if we're going to put in a search function on your website, I would essentially create a page that uses this search function verbatim. And you know, it's a little bit advanced, but it's something we can do with something called iframe. But you'll pretty much frame this search, drop it on your website, and then people, instead of having to use that top bar, if they go through your drop down here, it could just say like search homes in Burlington. They'll click that and they'll come right to here. This will be already set to Burlington, and you can see that. You can do the same thing with a landing page. But that's why that search function, I think, is really nice to have, because you can keep using it in all the different places so that, you know, you can get the most you can out of it. So we'll go back. And I am going to go to home. Okay. So we're on the agent site pages sort of set up here. You can see the different pages that I was just flipping through on this. And it's easy. This is where it's easy to get confused, because these titles happen to correspond with the titles that are here, but they're not necessarily linked. I put that in somewhere else. I just used the same titles for either one. So this is where the difference between you're creating a picture and then you're projecting that picture, this concept I'm about to get into, comes into play. So sort of like when we're talking about designs, you kind of create a design, you design a web page, and now you have it. And just like you have a newsletter, you have to give that newsletter to someone in order to use it. So it's kind of the same idea. You make this design, you make this web page, and now it's in this list. So I've got these ones are live because they've got these little, you can click this eyeball and preview it. This one is not, because it's not an active subpage. It's just a design that I have that I'm not using. And I can either activate it and put it on the projector to put it on the internet or not. Now, when I say like picture and projector, these are terms that I've come up with to kind of like illustrate my points. So if you Google those terms, you might not find what you're looking for. But just be aware of that. So in order to put a page on the website, and we'll go through creating a page after I get through this, you click Site Nav Settings. The pages you've created will be over here. We'll go to Agent Site Pages. And down here, this is actually the nav bar. This, whatever you fill out in these fields is what will populate. So if you go to Add Page, you can click any of the things that you've created. You can relink the same page over and over if you wanted to, and have a nav bar that's titled all different things and just use the same design over and over again. I don't know why you would, but to illustrate what it is that you're doing, you can just keep using that same one. So this is that one that's not active. If I click it and make it active, okay, so now I have this thing that says new page. So I'll click save. So now that's going to save to my site. In a minute, there it goes. Saving, settings were updated successfully. We'll go here, refresh my site, and we'll find that new thing on the dropdown. I don't know what this page is. It was probably just a tester, but there it is. It says new page right there. Looks like I was just messing around with some, the listings. I was messing around with putting a search function on my website. So this is what we were talking about before. Something you can do. So when you want to change the name of the thing on your nav bar, you change it here. If you're over here in Agent Site Pages and you happen to change this, you'll notice that it doesn't say that. If I change this name to anything, it won't translate over. So you have to go to Site Nav Settings, Agent Site Pages, click whatever page it is, and you'll change it here. And then update it. It'll change over here as well. If you refresh, that's what's connected to the name over here, bunnies. So that's how you manage it. You create something, then you bring it in over here. This is what projects what you've created onto your web page so that you're using it. You can rearrange these pages by grabbing the 6 dots over here and move them around however you like. And then, you know, I've got this thing that says bunnies that I don't really need, so I'm going to delete it. It's going to tell me, are you sure? So I'm going to do that. Now I've gotten rid of it. It's not on my website anymore, right? So I'll go back home and refresh. Now it's gone. So also note that it's not in this list anymore, but if I go back to agent site pages, it's still here. It's still a template that I can use. So I can turn it on, turn it off, project it, not project it. I have a picture and a projector. So they're in 2 spots. I'm either using it or I'm not, but I have this design that I'm going to create.
Okay.
So we'll get into creating pages in a minute. I wanted to highlight before we do that, you're going to say there's a Kelly guide that takes you through setting up the basics of your website. It may already be set up really basically. Everybody has a website if you've got a command account already. And if you go to the Keller Cloud Admin setup, it'll tell you what that address is. You filled it out when you did your questionnaire. Mine is JonathanMontrose.kw.com. So it's likely something like that, which is very similar to my email here at KW. When you want to use that Kelly guide to set up, it looks like you should click here to configure your site. This is just asking whether or not you're going to use the KW agent site that they've made, or if you're going to use some other thing or some older option, which I wasn't trained on very much. I know the agent sites. So if you want to use that Kelly guide, go to Site and App Settings, learn more with Kelly guides. So this is going to teach you about it, and it's also going to take you through the steps of setting it up. And there's 2 here. There's the agent site, and then there's consumer settings. The consumer settings one is all about the app that we've been talking about through the week, and the agent site is going to take you through sort of a step-by-step on that. Now, I'm not going to go all the way through it, but I can show you some of it because I don't want it to overwrite my web page. But this is what it looks like on the onset, and it's very similar. You know, we saw some of these kind of things when we were doing offers and commissions. It takes you through these little nodes. You go through step by step. So this is what you're going to do. You'll hit get started. You're going to acknowledge, and you're going to just follow all the prompts. And here, this is what that homepage would look like unless you changed it. You can change your subdomain here if you don't want it to be JonathanMontrose.kw.com. You can change it there, confirm it. As long as it's not taken, it'll give it to you. There's some conditions down here. It might take about 15 minutes for them to approve it. And then marketing profile information. All this stuff they drew from your marketing profile. You can modify it here if you need to. And then once you just get through all these lists, you get to the bottom and just move on to the next thing, move on to the next thing. And what it's going to do is it's going to set you up a really basic website. Now I'm going to click out of here because I don't want it to overwrite mine, like I was saying. That's how you set that up. And you're going to get something, I think it's about 3 pages. There's like an about me. I think there's a contact me. I don't remember what the last one is, but you should have just a real basic setup, and then you can take those and modify them from there. So I suggest that you use that Kelly guide so that you have a framework to start with, and then you can start kind of adjusting it to what your needs are. Think about like how you're going to use it. If you're going to funnel people to your website, why are you doing that? What do you want them to see? Make sure it's there. What kind of use are you going to get out of it? While we're here, before we make a page, this is that top page I was talking about. So this is what that ticker is over here. All these pictures right here, you get up to 5. You can get rid of as many as you want and leave one behind. I suppose you can get rid of all of them, just have a white background. And it's just going to rotate through whatever you have here. So I have different KWs. So it kind of looks like my background is changing colors. So I want them to just do that. And I need to update them with our DBA law, make a note of that. So I actually changed that to KW Central. And I guess we're here and we're learning stuff, so why don't we just do that together? So I'll get rid of a bunch of these. Bye-bye. We'll upload some. I've got them in here. There we go. I've got all these different logos in here. So I'm going to use my keyboard shortcut to pick the ones I want. I'm going to click that one and I'm going to hold Control. I'll pick another one. Oh, I can't do more than one. Oh no. All right, so we'll have to pick them one at a time. So I'll pick that one. There's one. We'll see if this fits nice. I may have to adjust it. We'll see. Let's see what that one looks like. Someone looks like it's maybe bigger. We'll see which one works well. That's probably on a clear background, which is why we can't see it. Now we're here and we'll refresh, and I may have to click save over here. Let's see. Save changes. I'll refresh, and let's see what happened. And there's some logo action back there. So it looks like I'm gonna have to take that into designs or paint or something and make sure that the pixel quality is the same size. We found an answers article yesterday, Emily, didn't we? We were talking about the different pixel sizes.
Yes, and I couldn't find it again because I was trying to find it again last night.
Yeah. Let's see. KW Connect profile details. Reference numbers in command. Let's see what it says here. Oh, no, that's the, because we found a little cheat sheet and that was helpful. I just typed in pixel and it brought me this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think this is what you were looking at yesterday.
Yeah. So we can look at agent sites, hero image. You want it to be, you know, this. So if you can bring it into, you know, like a picture paint editor, picture editor, or something like that. There's ways that you can, some of them have it, you can just select it and then hit, there's like a sizing option. You can actually just pop in the pixels, you know, height and width, and hit enter and it'll resize it. So if anybody needs help getting that, that's how you do it. And this is a good little cheat sheet for knowing what it should be, because it might say it here, maybe I'm missing it. Sometimes they'll just say it, make sure that it's, here it is, 1200 by 1200. There's one. So look for little notes like that. And that'll help a lot. And that'll give you, and if you get one that's exactly that, then it'll fit right in, just like a jigsaw puzzle, and it'll look great. So I'll come back. I got a little note to make those pretty, and I'll come back and do that on my own time, because nobody needs to sit here watching me resize rectangles. So that's where you do that. You can change, you know, what you want it to say here, find your dream home. You know, I guess I'll change that. Help. And I'll save those changes. Refresh it. There it is. So that's how, you know, you can modify the top page a little bit that way. All right, so let's go to agent site pages. We're going to create a new page, and I'll show you how we go from nothing, creating a page, to putting on your website, and a couple of little tricks that you can use. So we'll go up here to create new page. I'm going to create a page on my agent site as opposed to a landing page. So you can choose between the two here. It's easy to kind of get lost. Sorry, I'm moving around my different Zoom things. If you close that, you go over to landing pages and you hit create new page. You're clicking the same exact button. So just because you're in the landing pages tab or agent site pages tab, these two options are going to pop up the same. If you click agent site page on landing pages, you're still going to create a new website page, not a landing page. So don't get confused on that point. So now we're going to create a new web page. So right now it's just blank. So these operate through templates pretty heavily. I recommend that, you know, if you don't have a lot of web design experience, or, you know, if you're just trying to, you know, have the least amount of stress, grab a template, put it in there, fill in the blanks. Life's going to be great. If you want to start adding, you know, a template in and you need to modify it a little bit or add another template below it, or the more you push it around, the more trouble you're going to have. They kind of snap into place. So if you kind of move one someplace, it'll snap into place and you might not be able to move it back. So just know that the first thing that you might do is, okay, I'm going to put on agent profile. And, oh, this is great. I love this. And then you can maybe move this. So well, now that popped up there and that's over here. And now I don't love that. And my Ctrl Z isn't even working. I don't have an undo. I can't get it back. There's kind of nothing you can do about it. Unfortunately, this program, it works great unless you start doing some weird stuff like that. So it's not really like being in designs. If you get to this point, totally just recommend jump out, don't save your changes, create a new page, start fresh. It's the easiest way to go about it. If you are into doing some coding that doesn't intimidate you, there's a website you can go to. Let me go over here so I open it up. If you want to learn a little bit about HTML, which is not as scary as it sounds, you can go to this website and it'll take you through all the different, things that you can do, and it'll give you the opportunity to practice it. So you can go in, and then you can say, try for yourself, whatever it is you're trying to do, and you can load it in over here, and you can hit run, you can see if it worked over there. So if you wanted to practice any of that stuff, if you want to get into that stuff, you can do it. Some people are intimidated by it. I don't do a lot of it. I'll do it only when I really need to, if I want something to be centered, or if I need to adjust the size of something and the template's not allowing me. You can go and find your topic here and kind of force the issue. So that's, what's that called? w3schools.com. And it's just people teaching, HTML. You can't use it everywhere. You can use it in certain places. If you're in, I think if you're in like GoDaddy, or if you're in WordPress, you can bring up a little code box and you can put in HTML on that, which will listen to what you're saying. You can't just put it in a text box necessarily. Some places you can, some places you can't. If you're in here, in your content blocks, you bring in the text one, it will work here. So you can put in code into that and it will take it. It may or may not look like it worked until you preview your site. So keep that in mind. You'll have to save it, preview it, see if it's working the way you want it to. So if you're really feeling brave, you can drop it in there and you can create an entire website from just a blinking cursor if you're really dedicated to it and you know lots about, computer stuff. Alternatively, this is why I like the agent profile. Move that in and you can repurpose this to do a lot of different things. So I'll go over here for a second. And we'll go to here. This is the agent profile template. And I have all these maps embedded into it because the text box in here has two things going for it. One, it doesn't have a character limit. You can just keep typing away. You can write a whole book in there. I'm sure there's probably a top limit, but I haven't found it yet. And two, it'll take code. You can put HTML in there and it'll work. That's why these are embedded in a way that I have described, which is why this can come in handy if you need to do something in a pinch. So over here, you can drag in the widget and you're going to pick it out. And ooh, my controls are in the way, so I can't see that bottom option. Move that over here. Configure widgets. And this is where you can make your modifications. So you can change this picture to whatever it is that you want, just like anywhere else that we work. You can crop it here a little bit. I think you can move it around. Nope, doesn't let you. Change your title, and then it's just a little trial and error to knowing which box does what. So this one, save and apply, will change that box. Role in your company. You don't have to necessarily fill that out as role and company. You just need to know where that box populates. I think it does require you to put something in. So if you don't want it there, you can just put in a little dot like that. Now just have a little reasonably ignorable dot there if you don't want that there for some reason. Apply. That one doesn't have the asterisk, so it'll just go away. But bio title has that red one. It's required. So we'll put in test thing, save it. Now I have a title for where it would usually say something like bio or about me or all about Jonathan or whatever it's going to be. And then contact information, contact title, you can change down here, which is this item. Oh, he went away and he won't come back, because that's how the templates work. But this is the box I'm talking about where it says agent bio. You can see up here there's some character limits, 10 of 100, 16 of 100. This one doesn't have one. So if you want to embed something in here, you can do that. And there's lots of different things that you can embed from the internet. I'll do just a quick YouTube video because they make it really easy to do that. So let's go to YouTube. We'll go to KW Central NC and I'll pick one of my command training videos. You can bring up and you can do a couple of things. If you click share, you can embed like this. You can make it start at whatever point you paused it at. So it'll start right at a specific spot if you want to. But I'm going to click embed and I can make that start wherever I want. Copy. Now I have a bunch of code That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't speak that language, but I know that that code will work because that's what it's designed to do. And then get rid of what's there. So now I have something on my clipboard. It's as though I hit Control C or right click copy. So right here, if I hit Control V, it's going to come right up. Exactly what I should have. I'll save and apply. And now I have a video on my website. Now here's the thing, it's off center. So there's different things you can do about that. And that's where the HTML code comes in. If you can find what centers something, or you can just play right here where it says width and height. You can just adjust it until it's big enough that it's just naturally centered. You're going to want to do that proportionally. So you might have to get out the calculator and increase both by 25% each so that it stays the proper size rectangle, whatever it's going to be. But now it's here. And I can just play this YouTube video from right here. What it says, you can change the picture. So that's why I really like the agent profiles, because you can use this box. It's so flexible. So I usually use that over and over again for what I need to do. So now we have this web page. We're going to say example. I'm going to save that change. Save as often as you can. Just like we talked about, autosave is not a thing in command. Someday they'll claim that it's a thing in command. I'm still not going to trust that it's a thing in command. Always save manually over and over and over. Okay, so now I've got this agent site page that we just made, Friday example. I can't see it yet because it's not active. I can edit it if I want to go back, or I can remove it from here because it's just a design that I made. I think it is, you know, like a design that's way more fancy. To make it go live, just like we did last time, like we just talked about, we're going to go to sitemap settings, agent site pages. We're going to add a page. You're going to pick whatever it is that you want, Friday example, continue. And now I need to title it. And it doesn't have to be what I titled it before, so I guess maybe I'll show that. What did I put in there? YouTube video. And then the slug, which you don't have to change. What they're saying about that is that that's that little ending up here that you can change. So if you want to share your URL and you want it to be pretty, you can change that to YouTube, something like that. And they usually put dashes between because that's how people say. And then you can see like this is what it's going to look like when people are at that page. That's what's going to be in the nav bar, or I'm sorry, up in the URL spot. SEO description. You got to have something here. I'm not a master of this. Someday I'll make the time to research it more thoroughly, but this is pretty much how people find you, search engine optimization. So if people are searching around and you have this perfectly keyed in, you'll be higher up on the results list if you do it just right. I do know that if whatever you put in this box is supposed to be keywords that are actually on your website. So I'm probably put something like training or something like that, because those words actually exist on that page that I've created. I think that's sort of the idea. It may even be required, but I don't know how anybody would ever check that. So got to save it, update it successfully. We'll go back over here. Now it's not going to be here because I didn't refresh my site yet. Refresh everything. And should be right there, videos. Navigate to it. We can see all the stuff that I just put in there. I want that to be centered, so I would definitely want to do that and take the time to do it. But there, now you've got a video. And you can do the same thing with a lot of different things. You can go to Google Maps and embed the same way. For people to be able to find you really easily. You can go over here and let's find that. So let's click, where are we? Wherever it is that thinks we are. Computer is struggling. It's got too many things going on. Let's talk about that. So you got to pick a spot, and then you can go to share, and then you can go to embed a map. And it's just like we did before. Copy HTML. It's on your clipboard. You can drop it in. Now you've got a map there. You can change the sizes of it. Same way. Just look in the code for the little height and width number, and you can change it. But there's a lot of options like that around. If you need a certain thing to be there, you can use this little trick. We'll get you there. The last thing I want to touch on is iframe, which can really help. I love iframe, but it has that one more step. There it is. So this looks a little bit scary, but it's really actually kind of simple. If you wanted to take a website, like for some reason, if I wanted this website to appear as though it's on my website, I'm going to click that URL, Ctrl C to copy it. We'll go to here, I'm gonna go Control V, paste it in. And then you can set the height and width of it here. And this is gonna make a projection of this website on my website. So I'm gonna kind of like borrow, it's gonna see it. So over here, you can set the pixel sizes if you want it to be a little slider on your web page, or you can change this to percent and make it 100% by 100%. Then you're going to click generate. And you've got this just like before. Copy it. It's on your clipboard. We'll go over here. We'll go to site pages, and hopefully we can show this real quick. Go to Friday example, edit. This is a live page, and that's totally fine. As long as I save it, it'll keep updating. Go to configure widgets, agent profile. Okay, so I don't want that YouTube video there anymore. I'm going to put on, I think that was the pixels cheat sheet that we saw. So I'm going to put that here, right there. Let's say save and apply and see what happens. Oh, it doesn't like me. Oh, that's because it doesn't, because it's too big for the spot. So here's the detail I missed. We need to get rid of this agent profile. So now I have nothing, which is fine. This is what I was talking about before. I missed this one step. So if I close this up, we go to content blocks and I make it a text block instead. Insert your text here is, that's not just like ghost words. You have to get rid of those. Put that in there instead. Now the trick is you have to have at least one widget, I think, and it won't let you save it. The smallest one is the download my app one. You can put it at the bottom. As long as it lets you put it in there. And it's looking like my web page may have just gotten grumpy. So we're going to come back in. And this is what I'm talking about. You can just jump out, jump in, start again. Give it a second to breathe. Do that. We're going to bring in download my app. Now I can publish the page. So you can see the process. Sometimes you have to go through web page, maybe doesn't like what you're doing. And you just need to jump out, jump in. And okay. So theoretically, this iframe thing should be working. Let's preview it. Oh, and it's not, it's refusing to connect to answers.kw. I've been having trouble with that iframe lately. Let's make this pixels instead, I guess. Let's see what's going on. It. That in there instead. Publish that and see what happens there. And then pretty much just made the pixels smaller just to illustrate. Loading. And it's refusing to connect. Well, that is frustrating. It always happens when I'm not being recorded. It always totally works. But that's how I got the search results to work when we saw the example before. So let me find that. I'm lost in my own tabs here. We'll go to Jonathan. There. Burlington. Okay. Copy that. Up into here. I'm going to set this to % again. We're going to generate it, copy it. I'm going to edit here. In and publish it. Hopefully this will work this time. There it is. He's trying, but there it is. Okay, it popped up. So that's how it works. For some reason, the answers article didn't want to go into that iframe. but I guess that's just something you'll have to kind of fiddle with. So the thing here is I've got a scroll bar over here now, and I've got an inside scroll bar. And that's just the way it goes sometimes. But if you wanted to put a Burlington search on your website, that's how you can do it. You can use that iframe. So that's what I was doing before. Thanks for bearing with me on the trial and error there. So let's get rid of him.
Because I wanted to know how to do that, how to put a search on there. That was pretty neat.
Did you get a chance to write down how to get to the iframe generator?
I did not. What was the website?
I will bring that up again. It is iframe-generator.com.
Okay.
And just be ready to do some trial and error. If you're doing anything with websites, you know, you kind of guys just keep picking at it until it works right.
Okay.
But I like this thing. It's really handy, and it's really handy on not just because you can take other web pages and kind of project them and use your own ones around without having to redesign it, but it's also nice that if you're taking from maybe like a non-KW site, of course, make sure you're acting ethically, that you're not just like taking someone else's thing, taking credit for it or anything like that. But when you're here and this populates, the look, your nav bar at the top stays here. You know, you can see this one down here is kind of doubled up, but if you're trying to keep that consistent look and feel, if you have a frame on your own website that has a navigation bar at the top of it, like up here, you know, that's going to stay consistent so that people can still navigate around your website without having to click back and all that stuff. So,
okay.
All right, so that is pretty much how you do agent sites. You know how you create a page, how you get it on there, how you title it. Do you have any questions, Emily, that we can go into before we move forward?
No, I don't think I do.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about the app, which is a little bit easier. There's not as much to talk about really on it, so I'm glad we kind of took up the time talking about the website more. So same thing here. We're talking about the Kelly guide. You'll go to in command. You'll come to consumer, or bring to this top page, and then you're going to go to site and app settings. And you're going to go to learn more of Kelly guides. You're going to click consumer settings this time. Before, if you did it, you did agent site. Now we're setting up the, we call it the consumer app. So you go there. And while this is loading up, I'll explain something about the consumer app. Is that what you're doing now is sort of the only, you know, for lack of a better term, sort of like backstage, back end view you get of the app. You're going to create it. You're going to get the URL to share it. The first thing you're going to do with that URL is share it to yourself, because when you have the app on your phone, there's no like admin side of it. There's no like Emily Russell behind the curtain side where you can move around settings. You're always looking at the app as though you are a client, even if it's yours. So just make sure that you're looking at it from the same perspective as someone else that you would share it with, and it's always client facing. And keep that in mind when you're flipping through it, because the app doesn't really recognize you as the owner of it when you're using the app itself. You're just a client that happens to have the same name. So you go here and just like we did for the website, get started, set it all up, you know, can learn more about how different ways to use it. I recommend that you do that. And you're just going to follow all these different nodes. So we'll go to next. And it's going to take you through some things that are similar to what you saw when you're doing the website setup. So app download, hero text. And this is where I have to stop, because I technically don't have an app URL code. I wasn't really given one. And it yells at me because technically I'm not really supposed to have it. And I don't know. So you can go app text code. And I guess that'll copy it and all of that, but go through these steps. This shouldn't be here for you, but I should be able to help you with it. If you see that, I can't really help myself with it because I wasn't assigned the ability to have an app. Technically, I found my way around it somehow. This is what you're going to do. So you're gonna go next and follow all these different prompts, the guide builder and all of that stuff. And what you're going to do after you set it all up like that, it may have you text yourself your URL. If it doesn't, or if you've lost it, or if you need it, you'll come down here to consumer, go to URLs, and down here, you'll find the URLs for all of your things. It would look like that my website one has disappeared too, or that my command is maybe locked up. I'm thinking.
Okay, mine is already there, I guess, because I've got an app, I've already sent this code out, but it's got nothing in hero text. What is that supposed to be?
So if you set it up in the Kelly guide, you can change your hero text. Do you know what hero text is?
No, I don't.
Hang on a second. I'm trying to, my command is being
Okay.
grouchy. But hero text is, it's sort of a universal term, and I'm getting used to it myself. So I apologize if I don't hit it right on the nose. If anybody's watching, please put it in the comments if I'm not quite there. But this is essentially hero text. It's just that top, thing.
Okay.
So on the app, it would be that top level text. And I think there's an opportunity for you to fill out what that is when you go through the guide builder. It'll ask you for hero text, which is pretty much just going to be like, if someone, gets into your app and they only read one line, it's likely going to be just that one. So you want it to be like your tagline or something like that, or something motivational or something memorable. So to show where we are, I'll go to the consumer. Hopefully everything will load up and be happy. There we go. Site and app settings. You're going to go to URLs, and mine seems to be removed, which is unusual. It was there before, but you would normally see a URL for your agent site, and you would normally see another one for your consumer app. So what you would do is copy that URL, and then you can put it in an email and send it to yourself. And you should be able to open it on your phone, click that URL, download the app that way. And that's how you want to go on and do it first. Man, it really doesn't like me today. And that's because that's how all of your agent branding gets passed around. So if you download your own app, you're going to see your picture on it, your information on it. I know that Emily, you had questions about some of that stuff wasn't populating. You might want to go through the Kelly guide if you haven't yet. Maybe that'll help link it all back up. You can pull out some of the blanks that we're looking for. So from there, now you've got a copy of your own app with your own branded information on it. Now, if you say there's a KW app where you can do searches and save searches and everything, someone's like, oh, great. And they go download it from the marketplace, from, iStore and all of that. They'll get an app, but it won't have any branding on it. And because of that, they won't be able to connect with you as easily. It won't be connected to your command. If you share with them the app, your information will be on it. Your name, your contact information, your picture, email, and if they go on any saved searches, all of that stuff will populate into your command through their contact and what their searches are, what houses they've been looking at, what neighborhoods they're looking at, price ranges, anything that they've been checking out. You can go into that, you can go to the contacts list and see it. So I'll click contacts here, and I've got my own app, and I'll click on it and show you what I mean. So for me, down here at the bottom, and then I'm my own test, contact, which every day I'll remind everyone, put yourself in your own contacts list. I don't have any saved searches. We'll talk about that in a second. But over here, we can see I've sent an email to myself. I've been subscribed to a smart plan, neighborhood viewed. So I have looked at Carson Farms East at some point when I was on my own app, and I can see that. Now I know that. So if I've got this person in my contacts, I can see that their information is, okay, they're looking at Brightwood Farms and Carson Farms, and these are the areas they're really interested in. Oh, look, viewed a listing, you look through that timeline, you can see what it is this contact has been interested in. You can go down here and add a neighborhood, that person, say like East. See if it brings it up. It should, because it was just there. Try Carson Farms. Well, it was there. And it may be that I'm not spelling it right or something like that, but you can usually find the neighborhood with a little bit of effort. You can kind of find what you're looking for. So let's try. It's just not bringing it up for me today. I don't know why command is all of a sudden fighting with me today. It could be that I'm already on Brightwood down here, but you can just add them that way. And you can flip through the different things, the different neighborhoods they've been assigned to. And you can also preview or copy a link. And if you send them that link, it'll give them a little rundown of those neighborhoods. And I think I went here earlier in the week, but that's sort of how you can go through that process. If they have the app, you can tell what neighborhoods they're interested in, or if they just tell you, you can assign that neighborhood to them. Now they have a neighborhood snapshot you can send them. And then you can flip through the different neighborhoods that they've been assigned on that contact. The app will help you figure that stuff out because they're going to be able to browse it and figure that out. So if I go into my app here, I'm going to bring up my own camera so I can see myself here. There we go. So if you bring up the app, I can see information right there. I can put in something like, let's go current location. Let's zoom out, and I'm going to pick, this. And there's a listing here. I'm going to save it. In Jonathan's favorites, save it. And I can leave notes about it. So I did all that on my app just now. Theoretically, if I go back to my command, I should see that activity. Close this up a little here so I can see myself better. Go to contacts and refresh it. And it may take a minute to update, but we'll see if there's any new activity. So, okay, today's the 15th. Now look at that. Now I've got a little bar here, so I can't quite see myself. You can see right down there, activity, October 15th, 2021. A few seconds ago, 3 minutes ago, something happened. So that's what that recently active. If you make that populate from there, you see all the people that have been doing stuff. So I'll click on that. You've been recently active. What's going on, man? Click on that. And you can go to timeline and see that I updated some stuff like just now. I looked at all of these things, and I can look into what it is that I was looking at and put together A to B and figure out what they're interested in. And I can create searches for them too over here. Search by neighborhood. That's me. There we go. Save it and get Carson Farms. Here we go. Carson Farms East. And you can also just find something on a map. Ctrl. And try to be, direct with your zooming because these maps can get a little slow as they populate. And then you can just, I think that somewhere in this program they put in a draw function, but then that might not be here. But you can click.
No, I found that that's on the agent page or whatever.
Okay. Oh, on the search.
There's a search thing that you can draw a search because I was trying to figure out how I could do just the county I live in and say search Castle counties. You search and you can like literally draw.
That's the
Castle County is easy to draw.
Now that you say that, it's not surprising that they would put it in that function because that's what I keep coming back to. Is that's the one that they make great first, and then this one is another map function that's got way less functionality. Because this is, it doesn't get used as much, and they always put their advances in that area first. But you can come and fill out all this stuff just how you think it should be, and then click next. Save search. We'll say new stuff. Send email notifications. Sure. Instantly. Create this save search. Okay, so now I have a save search that I assigned to myself. Let's see what's going on there. So I'll close my app. I'll check my email. Theoretically, I should get some updates. All right.
So the system will automatically send them a notification through email that.
Yep, if you toggle that.
Okay.
So right here, you can see on my app, I don't know if you can read it or not. There's a little bit of glare, but you can see new stuff. That's the one I just sent to myself. So now I'm a client, of my own. And I created this save search. I found this house there, this area that I thought they would be interested in. I saved it there, and their app, now it's in their save searches spot. So they can click whatever it is that you want them to see, and it'll take them right to, in your professional opinion, something that's really relevant, given all of the data that you've seen in their timeline. What have they been looking at? What do they want? The conversations they've had with you, you can create that save search and pop it into their app, and they can just pull out their phone and see it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so
Where
it
you
really
used to have to print out MLS sheets and scan them and email. That's unbelievable.
you may still have to. Honestly, I think those are just different tools in your toolkit. Some people love paper and don't want to do tech. They don't want to look at their phone. And they want that, but a lot of people really, don't have time for whatever it is, and putting it in their pocket is really an advantage. And so, but it's directly connected to you. It's a little pipeline between them and you. No other agent, and doesn't go to KWRI or anything like that, and then bounce to you. This is between you and them. And it goes straight to your list and goes straight to their list. If you're using the guide, let me figure out how to get there. So this guide has a little bit more to do with like offers and commissions, I feel like, in the opportunity steps, but because it's on the client app, you'll find it here, the guide builder. If this is something that you're interested in doing, if you find yourself working with a tablet, I think this is a really great tool. Or if you're just always on your phone showing people examples of things, you can down here on the app at the bottom middle of it. I don't see my own screen, but at the bottom middle, there's something that just says guide. If you poke it, you can see this guide. And there's probably a big glare on this. I'm sorry, you can't really see what's on my phone.
No, I'm looking at it on my phone because I've already got mine set up.
Okay, so if you're there with me, you can see where it says guide, and you can go buying or selling, start your search, what can I afford, all those little tiles. You can go into here and modify every single one of them. If you wanted to get rid of every single tile on here and give them a recipe to pumpkin pie, you can do that. Whatever it is that you want. So you just click buying, and because that's whatever, and you can change. I think you can change the picture. You can change everything. Yeah, replace image. What kind of a step is it? What's the title of it? What do you want it to say? So if you want to have just sort of like a preset, like this is the process that we go through. This, you want to sell your home, you want to buy a home, this is the steps that you need to be aware of. And people can go through and you can show them, this is the process, and they can read through it at their leisure. And then also, you can check the little notes about where they are. And that is a step that I haven't really fully found the functionality of yet, but there is a way to communicate through this guide builder. So if you're working with just one person, they can communicate with you what step they're on. And let's see if we can find it together. We've got no more minutes left, so I'll just give it a quick shot. And let's scroll down here. All right, so we're on the timeline, opportunity save searches. Yep, so that's a part that I think I'm going to make a note on and make sure that I touch on that. But there's a way that I'm not aware of yet that you can communicate through these little steps. You can check it off and talk about, so like certain things I have, like this, I have one over checked that says checked off tour homes, but I don't know how to check it as the client, or if I should, or maybe that's just up to our end of things. But neighborhoods, so I'll make a note on that one. Maybe I'll add a little tech tip, something like that between now and then. All right, so that's pretty much what the app is all about. I would say, Emily, use that Kelly setup, and if you're having trouble, let me know, and we'll keep at it and figure out what's not working. Make sure your marketing profile, I think we looked at it yesterday, I think you're all filled out, but double check it before you do it so that it populates everything in one run.
Okay.
I think that's all I have for today. Do you have any questions, or is there anything that you want to go into?
No, I think that was a lot of that I'd already set up, but I'm glad to know how to get back into it and modify the stuff.
Okay.
So it sounds good.
All right. Yeah. If you have any questions about setting up your website or working with the app, just come find me.
Okay, I sure will. I appreciate all your help this week. This has been really great. I couldn't have done the stuff I've done without it.
That's awesome. And the videos are always up. Next week is Big Boot Camp with
Mhm.
Tiffany and Teresa. So definitely join
Will
in on
that
that.
be
That one's
in
a little
person?
days. What's that?
Will that be in person?
It's just like this. It'll be both.
Okay.
Most people, again, just like this. Most people will watch the recording or Zoom in.
Okay.
But we love company, so come see us.
Okay.
But I think those are Monday through Thursday,
Mhm.
and they're 2 hours, 10 to 12 instead of just 10 to 11. So, all
Okay, that works great.
right. Well, good luck with everything.
Thank you so much. Have a good
We'll see you.
weekend.
You too.
Bye-bye.